Hi, I'm Kaylee, and this is an update on my yoga book wish list for June and July. So in my last video about doing yoga and rewarding myself with books, I was doing really well, making myself do yoga every day by giving myself a reward of $1 for every time that I do yoga, and then I can spend that money at the end of the month buying books. So both May and June were a total success, and I am continuing to love this system, this reward system to make myself exercise. I did really well in July and got a lot of exercise, and then I was able to buy the books on my wish list. So in the month of June, I actually had 3 books on my wish list, but one of them did not have the cover that I wanted, so I decided to wait and see if at some point in the future that cover might be published. But I went ahead and got the other 2 books that were on the wish list for June, and that was A Wizard of Mars and Aunt Dimity and the Lost Prince. So these are both series that I am absolutely in love with, that I'm still reading through. So pretty much each month, here and there, I've been buying a bunch of these a little at a time, reading through both of these series. The Young Wizard series is about these young people who are learning magic. They don't go to a school or anything. It's more kind of like a self-home study. But they team up with other wizards and they're battling against evil and all kinds of good stuff. Every single one of these books blows my mind. Every single one is so different and imaginative, and it's really heartfelt, really deals with a lot of deep issues, and some philosophy and stuff in there too. And it's just so good. And the Aunt Dimity series is about Lori, who goes around solving these little minor mysteries in her tiny British village. And Aunt Dimity, this is her godmother who passed away many years ago and now communicates with Lori by writing to her in a journal from the beyond and, you know, giving her advice and everything as she goes through her little adventures. It's completely dorky and stupid. And I love it because it's just wonderful. So I got both of these for June, but I didn't get the other one because they didn't have the cover that I wanted. So for the month of July, instead of having only 3 books on my wish list, I went ahead and put 4 books on my wish list. I'm already a big fan of Gail Carson, and I loved her the two Princesses of Bamar book. I think I've read it 2 or 3 times. I think it's probably my favorite book of Gail Carson. So of course I had to get the second book, which actually I think is a prequel. It's not the continuation of the story. This is like a prequel, The Lost Kingdom of Bamar. So I just love delving into these fairy tale lands. And speaking of fairyland, I have already read all of the fairyland books by Katherine M Valenti, starting with The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making. So I've already read all of these, but I didn't own these last 2, The Boy Who Lost Fairyland and then The Girl Who Raced Fairyland All the Way Home. So I own the other ones, but I didn't own these, and I thought, ooh, I've got to make my collection complete. So I went ahead and got both of these. They're both just used copies. They're like former library copies that I think I bought them on, just, $4 or $5 each. So I'm very happy to finally have all the books in this lovely Fairyland series. I really ought to reread it because it's just so fantastic. And the last book that I got, I really splurged. I spent a little too much money, but it's totally worth it. I got The Maze in the Heart of the Castle by Dorothea Gilman. This is a book that I've heard so much about. Dorothea Gilman fans really talk about this one like this book will change your life kind of stuff. And it's about a boy whose parents die, and it's kind of like in olden times, and some old wizard or something tells him, if you want to deal with your grief, you need to go into this maze in this castle or something. So he basically goes on a quest. And who doesn't love a good quest. But it has all these deep ideas about, you know, grief and finding your identity and stuff like that. I have not read it yet. I'm kind of scared to read it because it's been so hyped up and I have so many big expectations in my mind. And then what if it's not as good as everybody says? And then, you know, so I'm just scared to read it. So this book is actually out of print. It's very difficult to find. This one you can see is like an old library copy or something that has all kind of markings in it. And this one, old library copy that it is, cost me $36, which is probably the most I've ever spent on a book. I just don't buy expensive books. I wait around and find it at a used bookstore. I look for those old library copies. You know, I try not to spend oodles of money, but somehow I just really had my heart set on this one. Anyway, I'm excited to read this one. I'm scared to read this one. If you have read it, please leave a comment and let me know. Did you completely love it? And that is my June and July book haul because I have been a good person and did all my exercise like I was supposed to. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know, have you read any of these? What books are on your wish list right now? Are you using buying books as a reward to make yourself do something? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.